Welcome back. You're listening to Tuttle Talk here on the Real Estate Radio Network. I am your host, Andy Tuttle. As promised, I have brought you two of the top teams in DFW to talk to you about two very different markets. Actually, one of our guests says there's three, and we'll get into that here in a minute. But we have Kurt Buehler of Buehler and Associates here with us today. Kurt, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Yeah.
I almost believed that, Kurt. Why am I have a chain around my arm to be here? No, Kurt, thanks for being here. And then we have Lance Mcgregor and Sharon Ketko of the Sharon Ketko Group here with us today. Guys, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
And we're excited to be here.
Good. I'm excited to have you. So just so you know, and I told you about this before, these are both teams that are in the top 5 Realtors out of 14,000 in our market. Why is that important? Because they're doing something right. Their homeowners, their clients are coming back to them again and again. They're giving them referrals. They're using them. When you use someone over and over again, what does that mean? It means you trust them. It means they do a good job for you. They do an amazing job for you, and you feel that there's a lot of value there. So there's value for you today. I want you to listen because this market you haven't seen it in years. This is a very competitive market, probably the most competitive market we've been in the last decade, and I'll let you guys talk about that. But, Kurt, I want to start with you because your market predominantly is the biggest piranha pit today. 200 description.
It's insane. I mean, it's just gone to a crazy point here where you bring a property up on the marketplace, and we primarily are somewhere between the $200,000 and $600,000, and that's in the Louisville, Flower Mound, Highland Village area. And you bring a property up in the marketplace, you're getting multiple offers within the first day, and people are removing financing contingencies. There are cash offers. It is a bloodbath out there for a buyer. Now, the amazing thing is it's still a great marketplace to buy in because the interest rates. I mean, the interest rates are dictating what is happening in this marketplace. The inventory issues are just killing us as far as realtors, big, large teams.
That's right. And, of course, as a lending side, when you're based off realtors, it actually kills us, too, because we have
Sure.
your buyers and other realtors' buyers who are like, man, nobody can seem to get a house. And we're going to go into more depth in that in a second because I want to start high level and then we'll kind of drill down. But one of the things, since you mentioned it, about interest rates staying low, inventory, some of the stats I read in the first segment were that year over year last month, home purchases were down 21%. But this last month, we had an uptick in 9% in the home purchase market. And the Mortgage Bankers Association came out with these numbers on Wednesday. And so these show a drastic improvement, and perhaps that maybe it just was the weather, along with the low inventory that created that, and now we're seeing a little bit more movement. Lance, do you see the inventory opening up a little bit? Do you see that this is going to open up and we're going to regain some of the losses from earlier in the year?
No, I don't see the inventory opening up in a price range of below $400,000. Like Kurt said, below $400,000, it's a feeding frenzy. We're getting multiple offers in the first week.
Right.
There's 3 separate markets that we have in our Plano, Frisco, Collin County area right now. The $400,000 and below, those houses are selling quickly without very much marketing.
Within a day.
Within a day. Okay. Below $400,000. The 400 to 600 price range, if the homes are remodeled and up to date, that 4 to 6 will go quick. But if they're not, then that's taking a little bit longer selling time. Once you hit that $500,000 mark, that house needs to be fresh.
And that's because people is that part of our culture now, right? They don't want to fix anything. They want it to be ready to go.
They want it to be ready to go. Buyers want new right now. So that 5 to 6 range, if it's fresh, the house is going to go quick. If it's not, it's going to take a normal selling period, 60, 90 days. The over $600,000 market is the same as it's been for years. We have to market the property, and those homes are staying on the market considerably longer.
Sharon, what is, in these 3 different markets, what is the biggest and best advice that you are giving to your sellers in this market and your buyers in this market, depending on their price point?
I think with the sellers, if you are one of those very fortunate properties that we're going to be able to create a multiple offer situation for you, the best advice that we can give those people is pay attention and close up loopholes. One of the things we were talking about before the show is what I call the placeholder contracts. There's multiple offers. The buyer's agents come out and they may put in a ridiculously high offer and make all these promises to the seller, but then they're going to come back and try to battle you in appraisal, or they're going to come back and beat you up during the inspections to a point that that awesome offer was not the great offer that you thought it was. So that's a challenge for that price range. We are still a local market. We are 95% local in the North Dallas, Plano, Frisco market. And these are very savvy buyers that are coming out and purchasing. So if you are that $1 million property, just because you're watching on the news that it's such an awesome, great market, and it is, that doesn't mean that your $1 million home is today worth 1.2, whereas last month it was worth 800,000.
Well, you know what they don't say on the news is they don't say that this is a price point sensitive issue. They never bring it up in the news.
Correct.
They generalize.
Exactly.
They generalize the entire market.
Yeah, absolutely. You just can't do that.
No.
And what we're seeing with the multiple offers like that is we're shutting down when we see those placeholder
Contracts.
offers that come in. And placeholder means that a buyer's agent is just making all kinds of promises, and they just want to tie the property up, and then they'll terminate during option period.
Yeah, and sometimes that buyer hasn't even been out to see the property.
And that's what I wanted to touch on. What's happening in this price range under $400,000 is that the inventory is so low that the minute the house goes on the market, agents are submitting offers before their clients even see the home to try and tie that property up so that their clients have time to come in and see the property, because if they wait, they'll never get it.
You're listening to Tuttle Talk here on the Real Estate Radio Network. We're talking with Sharon Ketko and Lance Mcgregor of the Sharon Ketko Group and Kurt Buehler of Buehler and Associates, talking about the real deal, what's happening in the market. They are the top five. They both are in the top 5 agents of the 14,000 in this market. So if you want to talk to one of these professionals, call me 469-319-0660 or text that same number 469-319-0660. 0660, and we'll get you connected. You know, you talked about people tying up offers, placeholder offers, and your job as the listing agent then becomes a lot of damage control and cleanup.
Well, our job is to make sure that, number one, that they've seen the house.
Filtering, really.
Yes, that they've seen the house.
Very
that
good.
we remove financing contingencies. We don't want those contracts to be contingent on financing anymore. Those buyers better be ready to go, and they better be pre-approved. And when I say pre-approved, I'm not talking about the piece of paper that I get that says that they're pre-approved subject to things.
Exactly. And that is so true. I want to know that the funds for the earnest money, not for earnest money, the funds for the down payment are there. I want to know every single detail is taken care of. And you've got to get pre-approved.
Well,
strong pre-approval.
And what we do whenever we bring a property up on the marketplace, we put right in MLS, all offers will be open 3 days later. And what we're doing is we're causing those offers to become into a bidding war. And that's our job for the listing side, is to make sure that we get multiple offers and we get the best conditions and best terms for our seller.
To market the property and bring the strongest contract possible.
What we've seen, and I want to say this one other thing, is the for sale by owners. I mean, the for sale by owners are underpricing their properties.
Yes.
Because they don't understand what's happening in the marketplace. And yes, they can sell their properties, but they're selling them ridiculously lower than what the market is.
And they think they're saving the commission.
Oh, my gosh.
And they're leaving money on the table.
Let's talk about leaving that money on the table and how to make sure you don't leave money on the table. I want to touch on one. When we come back, we'll do this too. I'm going to touch on the pre-approvals and what that means in more detail. And the same as cash pre-approval that you've got to have to win in this market. And we'll make sure that you are prepared to sell for the right price and sell quickly. Next. Welcome back, Dallas. At least you guys got a kick out of that. Hopefully your radio wasn't turned up too loud. Okay, I'm your host, Andy Tuttle. We are back with Sharon Ketko and Lance Mcgregor of the Sharon Ketko Group, and also Kurt Buehler of Buehler and Associates. We're talking inventory. We're talking how you can be prepared to buy. And at the break, right before the break, we talked about two main things that I want to pick up on. One is pre-approvals. And everyone here was unanimous that you've got to have a strong pre-approval. That means that your internet lender that you logged on and just sent some stuff and got something spit out didn't work.
Heaven forbid.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you can spend time, that lender, if you're with the four big banks, get ready. You're probably not going to get your offer accepted either. You have to have submitted all your documentation. It needs to at minimum be run through a Fannie Mae DU engine. That's desktop underwriter. That's basically the automated underwriting system that lenders use, that underwriters then follow if you're with a good mortgage company, so that you can be done except for the property evaluation. You are fully credit approved. And so that is what you have to be. And on top of that, guys, correct me if I'm wrong here, a lot of times you're waiving financing contingencies. And again, this is in the below $400,000 and definitely below $600,000 price point. You are increasing money for option fees and shortening the option period,
yes,
from 10 days to 5 to 7, correct?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
What else is going on out there in the market that you've got to, that buyers have to do to win?
Okay, just what you said, the buyers have to be 100% pre-approved, and the listing agents that have multiple offers, they are weeding through that very, very carefully. So I think all the points that you made are very valid. The other thing that the listing agents are going to be looking for is to tie up your appraisal contingency, and that's one of the reasons why it's important to have a lender who can help move quickly
through the appraisal process.
Through the appraisal process, right. Because I'm wanting that appraisal to be done within 10 days, 12 days, and it's interesting how many people out there will balk at making that happen.
Well, you know, the problem that we see, and this is where the common layperson doesn't understand about we call them the nationals, and it's a B of A, Bank of America, Citi, Chase, and Wells Fargo.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
These guys, the Dodd-Frank law of May 1st of 2009, it all changed, and the knowledge of the United States said that the housing crisis was because of the appraisals and the mortgage companies being in cahoots and all that problem.
Right.
So they made it now where mortgage companies can no longer contact an appraiser. They have to pick it from a group, and a group is called an AMC, or Appraisal Management Company. Mm-hmm. But what happens with these national guys is Wells, for example, they're out of Des Moines, Iowa. So they're calling up to Des Moines, Iowa to call down here to get one of their 250 people, appraisers, that are in this appraisal management company. They don't have a clue about the properties in Flower Mound.
That's right.
And they can't get anything done fast.
So one of the most important things that any seller has to do is you make sure your listing agent is prepared to meet that appraisal, and that he calls ahead and you've got your square footage measurement and your everything, all of your updates and upgrades and their comps. It's policy with my group that we contact that appraiser, and we're just sharing friendly information, and we understand that the appraiser probably cannot use what we give, but we want them to have a full print package, and I want them to have a copy of the contract. I want them to be aware if they were in a multiple offer situation, because some of these appraisers from who knows where have no clue.
ULIS appraisers coming to Plano to do a market appraisal.
Now,
right.
And you bring that up, and here you want to make sure you give copies of those other offers so they can see that there are multiple offers that came in on that property. Absolutely.
And especially when we're selling a home right at list price.
So,
or even above list price, so they know, look, there are 4 other people that are willing to pay list price. This is the market value.
We're not trying to influence the appraiser. We're trying to inform the appraiser, and there's a massive difference between those two things there.
And that is so true. And I will tell you, 98% of the agents, the listing agents, the people who are responsible for making sure these sellers can take advantage of this market and get the higher price, they have no idea. They don't even know to contact or to help manage that process. And that is part of our jobs as professionals.
And, I wanted to say one thing about this market is so dynamic right now that if you are not represented by someone that does this all day, every day, you're losing money.
I totally agree with that. You're listening here to Tuttle Talk on the Real Estate Radio Network. We're talking with the Sharon Ketko Group and Buehler and Associates here about what's going on in this market. And you guys bring up a point, and I'm going to stay with this appraisal theme. I want to tie it into people that are unrepresented completely with the sellers, which is the FSBOs, the for sale by owners out there. And then we're going to go into those of you that are being represented by your part-time Aunt Susie from Minnesota who did one transaction in the last 5 years. So we're going to tie all that in because you guys, if you're doing that, guess what? Have fun. You're going to spin your wheels. You're going to waste time. And these guys are going to represent buyers that are going to beat you every time. So go ahead and do it.
That's right.
You know,
beat you every time.
And here in our marketplace, which is really crazy about our marketplace, we get the majority of all of our traffic and our interest in the first 7 to 10 days, and then it drops off steep. So
That's
if
right.
you miss that first 7 to 10 days because
if you're not prepared, if you're not documented, if you don't have all your ducks in a row in that first 10 days, your traffic does dry up.
If you're selling your home by yourself right now, I hope you're taking notes. Record this. Go back to AndyTuttle.com and listen to it. We talked about FSBOs, for sale by owners, at the end of the last segment. And a couple of things on those. And Kurt, I am going to go to you here because you represent them more than you guys because you're more of the luxury market. Although there still are FSBOs that do luxury sales by themselves. It's crazy. So here's the deal. You, just so you know, the last 10 years, the statistic has not changed. National Association of Realtors say 67% of people that start for sale by owner end up using an agent. So here's my question for you. If statistics show that you sell for less, on average 5% less on a $200,000 home, that's $10,000 less, and it takes you twice as long, so your cost to carry on that home is $5,000 to $8,000 greater, why do you feel, and you end up using a realtor anyway, and now you're paying all these FSBO companies out there $500 flat fee, $69 a month, or a discount broker 1%, and it's not working, why are you still doing it?
Because they can.
And because you think you're smarter than the market.
Yeah, and you think you're smarter than people that do hundreds of millions of dollars of sales a year. Kurt, you did in 2013. Did you do 100 million?
No, we did 94 million.
You did 94 million. So if you're a for sale by owner, or if you're a person hiring your aunt, and you're going to think that you're going to compete with a man that does $94 million in sales in a single year.
Number 2 in DFW, thank you very much.
But you know,
good point.
You know, and here's the
Lance.
thing about for sale by owners. Yes, they can sell their house. But we just ran across a thing, and this happened in Flower Mound. For sale by owner was selling for $300,000. And I went over there representing a buyer. Well, come to find out that it didn't fit my buyer. I called them the next day and I said to them, you know, now that I'm not representing the buyer on that transaction, I said to them, I said, guys, why are you selling your house so cheap?
Right.
And I said to him, I tell you what, here's my offer to you. If I can't net you more than $310,000, I won't collect a commission. And we listed that property for $325,000 and had multiple offers on that house and sold that house. That for sale by owner was leaving money on the table because they don't understand the marketplace and don't understand how to manage multiple offers.
And
You know
so,
what? Oh,
go ahead,
and
Sharon.
the other thing with that is that they believe a for sale by owner, he's looking at that commission and he thinks he's saving money. What he doesn't realize is that when that buyer, whether that buyer is represented or not, rolls up in front of your home and sees that you're a for sale by owner, they think that money is their money. They're not going to let you have it.
They've already mentally
Ding, ding,
taken
ding.
that off
Ding,
the
ding.
sales price of the home.
Huge point. So I want to summarize this for you real quick, too, and make one final point on that. Another thing about that, guys, is, you know, when you are for sale by owner, you are eliminating 80% of the market because realtors aren't going to be showing your home if there's another home. Now, there may be more in this market because inventory is so low. But for most of it, they're going to show people that are represented because they don't want to mess with that because they're not going to get that money. So you're eliminating part of the market, and that's one of the reasons that you're selling for less. And here's the biggest thing, too. Let's say you do sell and you get it. First of all, you're going to lose money because you're not listing it high enough. But then you get all these offers in. How in the junk are you going to know which one is the best offer? Because I tell you, the biggest mistake most people make is if you're not a professional, you're going to go for the highest price.
Oh, yeah. Don't do that.
That is the cardinal mistake of you as a naive seller. So don't do that. Guys, I thank you so much for being on the show today. It was power packed for this last half. We're already out of time. But we were just getting started.
We got more to say.
Final word, advice for people in this market today.
Sellers, even though you have multiple offers on your property, it's still important to be gracious.
I love that. And it's not happening right now.
That's exactly right. Guys, I'm going to push time here, but I know there's a story here. Kurt, there's a quick example. You guys got 45 seconds to get it done on the example that I heard a steer and break of what's an example of a seller not being gracious?
We had made an offer on a property that was listed at $420,000, and we made an offer of $11,000 over list price. And the seller came back and goes, they chose our offer, but they came back and they said, no, we want $20,000 over list price. I mean,
Exact
Sharon,
same thing.
Same thing, Sharon?
Same thing.
Absolutely.
This week.
And
This week it happened.
Or they do not want to do repairs that every single buyer is going to ask you to do.
And
you know,
then they want to
And a
stay.
lender may require.
I'll
End with this,
I'll
Lance. Take us home.
I'll take you out right now. At the end of the day, you have to remember that you are entering in a legally binding document with the other party, and grace will get you further.
Yes.
Get more bees with honey, guys. It works in every part of your life. Sharon Ketko, Lance Mcgregor, thank you for coming on the show today and giving us your wisdom.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you for
Thank you,
having
Andy,
us.
for having
Thank you
us.
very
This was
much.
fun.
Good. We'll definitely have you back. Kurt, my man, a big pleasure. Love your energy, brother.
Thanks.
Guys, and thank you so much for listening. Again, you missed this show. You want to catch it in its entirety. Go to andytuttle.com or go to facebook.com/the Tuttle Group. If you want to connect with one of these professionals, or you need to make sure you have a same as cash pre-approval, I'm your guy. 469-319-0660. 469-319-0660. That's it for today's show. Hope you enjoyed this hour, and I hope you're having a lovely Mother's Day. Come back with us next week. We've got more power-packed information to help you win this summer. Thank you so much for listening to Tuttle Talk, where we're making financial intelligence a priority in the community. Have a great weekend.
You've been listening to Tuttle Talk on 660 AM. You can reach Andy at 469-319-0660. That's 469-319-0660. Or email him at answers@andytuttle.com. Don't forget to become a fan of his show by going to facebook.com/Tuttle Group. You can also catch previous shows by going to andytuttle.com.